Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Week off last week, just a busy time in the church, but we're going to pick right back up where we left off. We're going to finish the book of Titus, and then we're probably going to move right on into Philemon as the week progresses. But get your coffee and let's get going. We're going to pick up in right where we left off, in chapter 3, starting in verse 9. It says this: "But avoid foolish controversies and genealogies and arguments and quarrels about the law, because these are unprofitable and useless. Warn a divisive person once, and then warn them a second time. After that, have nothing to do with them. You may be sure that such people are warped and sinful. They are self-condemned." Now, this is kind of a rough scripture here, and we're hearing some very healthy warnings, and then some pretty sound advice in how to deal with these circumstances. What he says is avoid foolish controversies. Now, in the modern church, we don't think that we do these things, but we do. Things like colors of paint and types of carpet and styles of music, things like that, which should not be controversies in the church. I've always resolved myself and coming up in worship ministries that if a song praised the Lord and was theologically accurate, I was willing to play it. I really didn't focus too much on the style, whether the service was blended or contemporary or hymns or progressive even. I've even done a song that has rap in it. And so the point being, that's a controversy that is not significant to your salvation. And that's just one example, but we see this in other ways. I think the pastor speaks too harshly, or I don't think he's hard enough, or I never feel like, I do anything right, or man, it's just fluff, or it never goes deep enough, or any of those things. We need to be mindful of being so hypercritical of things that are happening in the church. And that's what Paul is warning us here. He's saying, avoid foolish controversies. He gives the example of genealogies and arguments and quarrels about the law. Should you keep kosher? Should you not keep kosher? Does the scripture where Peter sees the blanket come down with all the food and he says, kill and eat, does that mean that the law is dead and all of these things? Guys, at the end of the day, we shouldn't be arguing or even debating about these things. You can have healthy conversations about them. But when they turn into arguments, they become what he says unprofitable and useless, even divisive. In verse 10, he says, warn a divisive person once, then warn them a second time, and then have nothing to do with them. Well, that seems kind of harsh, but if that's happening in the church, what he tells us is that the root of what's happening there is based in sin. He said that these people, you can be sure that they are warped and sinful, that they are self-condemned. So what's your devotion for today? Find a way to not do these things. And sometimes that's hard because we have opinions and we have ideas and we have dreams and visions and things that we think are right. We think those things. I think those things. We all do. But not everybody sees things the way that you see them, and not everybody thinks things that you think, and not everyone believes the same exact theology that you do. And it doesn't make them bad people. So don't argue and don't quarrel. Find a way to be agreeable. Find the things that unite you and stay there. So that's your devotion for today. As always, guys, remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you can be made aware every time we put out a new video. Go bless somebody else today. Expect nothing in return and watch what happens in your life. We'll see you.